Hello boys and girls. Today we'll be reviewing our solid figures. We have learned about a cube, a cylinder, a sphere, and a cone. Today we're going to see how some of our solid figures can stack, slide, and roll. For a solid figure to stack, it has to have a flat face. For it to slide, it also has to have a flat face. For it to roll, it needs to have a curved edge. So let's take a look at some of the solid figures that we have learned to see which ones can stack, slide, and roll. So let's start off with our cube. A cube has 6 flat faces. So if a cube has 6 flat faces, I can think to myself, a flat face can stack, a flat face can slide, but a flat face cannot roll. So let's check that out and see if it's true. Now, some of us know about dice. When we have some dice, we often say that we are going to roll the dice. But if I give that dice a little push, does it roll anywhere? It really doesn't. It just moves a little bit, because when we roll that dice, we're actually just giving it a little toss and it tumbles around. So when we say we're rolling the dice, we're actually just tossing them and watching them tumble, because a cube cannot actually roll. A cube only has flat faces, so a cube can only slide. Let's watch that. I'm going to put my cube right here on my tray, and when I tilt my tray back and forth, I can see it's sliding. So a cube with a flat face can slide. I can also see if my cube can stack. So if it has a flat face, a cube can stack. Let's try it and see. If I take some of my cubes and I have a die that is a cube, and I put another cube on top, can that stack? Yeah, it sits right on top of the other cube because they both have a flat face. So if I have a cube has a flat face, so it can also stack. But does a cube have any curved edges? No, it does not. So a cube cannot roll. Even if I go like that, it stops moving as soon as I'm done pushing it or tossing it. So it is not rolling. A cube cannot roll because it does not have any curved edges. So we're going to put that cube right back there, and let's look at some cubes that we might be familiar with. We already talked about our dice. What about a Rubik's Cube? Does it have 6 flat faces on it? Can I stack my dice on top of that Rubik's Cube? I sure can. Can I slide my Rubik's Cube back and forth? I can. That is a cube. I can also see something that a lot of us use, a cube to charge our cell phones and devices with. That is also a cube. We have so many cubes around us. Ice cubes are also cubes. And I have this big jar of peanut butter pretzel snacks. That is also a big giant cube. There are so many cubes that we can find all around us. Now let's look at our next solid figure. The next solid figure we're going to look at is a cylinder. When I look at the cylinder, it has flat faces. So if a cylinder has a flat face, I can assume that the cylinder is going to stack and slide, because I see a circle flat face here and a circle flat face right here. So let's give it a try and see if that's true. If I turn my cylinder over and give it a little push, it does roll. It can roll back and forth pretty quickly too, because it has a curved edge. So this solid figure can actually roll. If I put this cylinder on my flat surface and tilt my surface back and forth, can my solid figure slide? Yes, it can. A solid figure can slide. With just a little bit of force, it can go back and forth, and I don't even have to touch it. So, this solid figure can slide, and this solid figure can also roll. Now, friends, we have to see if this solid figure can stack. Let's give it a try. If I have this cylinder and I take this cylinder, if they both have a flat face, it can stack. Just like when your mom or dad or the adult in your house brings home some cans from the grocery store, they might put them away when they get home and they'll put that down, and then they could put another can right on top of it, just like that. Maybe a smaller can and then another smaller can like that. And we have all of those things stacked up together. So a cylinder can also stack. Oh my goodness, friends, look at this. A cube can stack and slide. A cylinder can stack and slide, but a cylinder can also roll. Let's try another solid figure. Let's try our sphere. Now, when we're looking at a sphere does not have any flat faces. It is curved all the way around. So if I put this sphere down, a lot of times it starts to roll away from me and it won't stay where I want it to stay. That is because it has no flat faces at all. If it does not have a flat face, then that means it cannot stack and it cannot slide. If I try to take that sphere and put this sphere right on top of it, no matter how careful I am, that sphere is always going to roll right off the top because it has a curved edge. Some other spheres that you might be familiar with are spheres that look like this. A baseball, that is a sphere, isn't it? And look at what I have right here. I have some beads. These beads have bunches and bunches of spheres all over them. They all have curved edges. So if I have this little sphere right here and I put it on my tray without much effort at all, it's going to roll all over. It's even hard to keep it in the picture because it's rolling so much. Because a sphere has a curved edge and no flat faces. So if I'm going to sort my sphere, I am going to put my sphere right here with the solid figures that can roll. It can roll. Does a sphere slide? No, it doesn't, because a sphere does not have any flat faces. Now, let's take a look at our last solid figure. This solid figure is a cone. Now, when I look at a cone has a flat face, the shape of a circle right there. It has one flat face. So if it has a flat face, anything with a flat face can stack and slide. If it has a flat face, it can stack and slide. So if I have my cones, this is kind of tricky because if I try to stack this cone on top of that cone, will it stack? It doesn't. Cones cannot stack on top of one another, but if I take this cone and I place it on top of that cube, can it stack? Yes, it sure can. If I take this cylinder right here and I put this cone on top of that cylinder, can it stack? Yes, it can. So friends, a cone can stack. A cone can stack. Now let's see if a cone can slide. if I put my cone on this flat surface and tilt it just a little bit, look what happens to my cone. It slides back and forth because remember, anything that has a flat face can slide. So a cone can also slide. So let's put our cone right there on our slide side. Now the last thing we have to check for our cone is to see if a cone can roll. So I'm going to put our cone right here in the middle and give it a tap. And what do you see it doing? Yeah, it's rolling around in a circle, isn't it? With just that one little tap, it just kept rolling and rolling and rolling because it does have a curved edge. A cone has a vertex right here and the curved edge that goes around. So because a cone has a curved edge, it can also roll. Wow, look at this. We have a cone that can stack, slide, and roll. A cylinder can stack, slide, and roll. A cube only has flat faces, so it can only stack and slide. And a sphere only has curved edges, so it can only roll. We have learned so much about our solid figures, friends. We can see how those can stack, slide, and roll. Now let's look at some things that can also be cones. Okay, some other things that can be cones. I bet many of you have used this in your classroom. Look at the tip of this glue bottle. What shape do you see? Yeah, it has a cone on the tip of it, doesn't it? It does. If we look at the tip of this pencil, do you see that cone? Yeah, the tip of a pencil has a cone. Let's look at this marker right here. That looks like a cylinder, doesn't it? Because remember, just like this Play-Doh can right here, a cylinder has a flat face on each end and a curved edge. It has a circle on each end, a face, and then a curved edge. So that's kind of like this marker. It has a circle and a circle, flat face, and then curved edge. But watch this when I open it. What do you see right there on the end of that marker? Yeah, it's a cone. So there are so many things around us that we can find that are solid figures. We can find cubes. We can find cylinders. We can find cones. And we can find spheres. So when you finish with this activity, you can try and go around your house to see what kinds of solid figures you can find around your house. You could also use your Play-Doh if you have some to try to make some of your own solid figures, and listen to the directions in the activity after this to find out what else you can do with your solid figures.